The galaxy trembled as the alien fleet advanced, 1,000 massive battleships gliding through the cosmos like a dark storm cloud. They came from a distant star system, known for their ruthless conquest and destruction. The alien species, the Zorathians, have been expanding their empire for centuries, leaving nothing but ashes in their wake. This time their sights were set on Earth, and they believed it would be another easy victory. But they were wrong. In the darkness of space, the humans' final weapon, the Aegis, stood alone, waiting for the coming storm. It was a lone ship, a single speck against the massive fleet of Zorathian warships, but it was humanity's last hope. The ship was an engineering marvel created by the brightest minds of Earth, and it held one secret the aliens had no way of knowing. It was powered by the combined ingenuity and determination of humanity. As the fleet closed in, a Zorathian admiral, Zalthros, stared at his view screen with an arrogant smile. He had crushed countless civilizations, and Earth seemed like it would be no different. "Ready the fleet," he ordered coldly. "Prepare for the final assault. Let us see what humanity's last weapon is truly made of." The Zorathian fleet surged forward, their guns primed, their ships bristling with destructive energy, but the Aegis was not intimidated. Captain Emily Harper, commander of the Aegis, watched the enemy ships grow larger on her screen. She stood straight at the helm, her face set in determination. "All hands, brace for impact," she called out over the intercom. "This is it. We fight for our home. We fight for humanity." The crew aboard the Aegis responded with resolute voices. They knew the odds. They were outnumbered 1,000 to 1, but they also knew something the Zorathians didn't. Humans never gave up. Initiating Phase 1, the ship's chief engineer, Dr. Joshua Lin, called out from his station. A hum filled the ship as the Aegis powered up, its systems coming online with a deep rumble. "All systems are at full strength, Captain." The aliens fired first. Waves of plasma blasts erupted from the Zorathian fleet, tearing through the void toward the human ship. But the Aegis was already in motion. With swift precision, it dodged the incoming fire, weaving in and out of the barrage like a dance of death. "What is that ship doing?" Zalthros hissed, watching in disbelief as the Aegis moved with such agility, evading the heavy fire. "All ships, adjust targeting. We will not let this human ship escape." But the humans were ready. "Activate the cloaking field," Captain Harper ordered. In an instant, the Aegis flickered and vanished from the radar, becoming invisible to the Zorathians. The alien ships fired blindly, their energy blasts missing by miles, while the Aegis silently drifted between the massive warships. "Phase 2, Dr. Lin said, his voice steady. "Weapons are primed." With a sudden burst of speed, the Aegis reappeared, flying straight into the heart of the Zorathian fleet. The ship's weapon systems unleashed a barrage of energy beams, cutting through the thick hulls of the nearest alien ships. One by one, Zorathian warships exploded, their twisted wreckage spinning into the void. "Impossible!" Zalthros shouted, his antennae flicking with rage. "Retaliate? Retaliate now." The Zorathian ships began to regroup, launching waves of deadly firepower at the Aegis. But the humans weren't just fighting back, they were outthinking the aliens. The Aegis shifted its shape, reconfiguring its shields to adapt to each new type of enemy weapon. It became a moving puzzle the Zorathians couldn't solve, an unpredictable force that struck fast and hard, retreating just as quickly before the enemy could retaliate. "Captain, we've taken down 30 ships already," Dr. Lin reported, his voice filled with awe. "But there are still hundreds of them left." Harper clenched her fists. "We don't stop until every last one of them is gone. Earth depends on us." The Aegis surged forward again, firing on all cylinders. The alien ships had started to regroup, but the humans' unrelenting attacks were forcing them into disarray. The fleet, once a massive wall of invulnerability, was now showing signs of weakness. "Why aren't they stopping?" Zalthros growled, his mind spinning. "Why are they still fighting?" "They're humans," a voice from one of his officers said, sounding baffled. "They never stop fighting." Zalthros' face twisted in confusion and fury. The Zorathians, who had conquered entire civilizations without breaking a sweat, had underestimated the will of humanity. They thought the Aegis was just one more ship, just one more insignificant target, but they hadn't realized that the heart of every human on that ship beat with the same fierce desire to protect their home. "Captain," Dr. Lin called out urgently, "we've got a new problem. The Zorathians are deploying a superweapon." Harper's eyes narrowed. She had expected this. The Zorathians had used such weapons before, a planet-destroying beam capable of annihilating entire worlds. "Can we stop it?" she asked. "Not directly," Dr. Lin replied, "but if we can get close enough, we can overload their targeting system." Harper didn't hesitate. Set course for the superweapon. Full speed ahead. The Aegis plunged toward the center of the Zorathian fleet, dodging every incoming shot, weaving through enemy lines with the grace of a predator. As the superweapon powered up, the ship closed the distance, charging forward like a bullet from a gun. With one final, blinding strike, the Aegis fired every weapon in its arsenal directly into the heart of the Zorathian superweapon. The explosion was deafening, a shockwave that rippled through the entire fleet, ripping ships apart. Zalthras could only watch in horror as the Aegis danced through the wreckage, its crew united and unstoppable. "Humanity will never be broken," Captain Harper whispered to herself, watching the remnants of the once proud Zorathian fleet float helplessly in space. The last alien battleship exploded in a burst of light, leaving the Aegis standing alone against the backdrop of stars. The battle was over. Humanity had won. The Zorathians had underestimated the strength of the human spirit, and that would be their final mistake.